Hello viewers of our page. This is another prop stock showcase, and this is something that I know a number of you you've been waiting for part 3 of this video, and here it is for you. You already know, since you saw the opening ad on YouTube, what we're going to be covering here. Well, quick recap. Many weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I was on an auction site and I came across what I thought at first was a replica clapperboard, specifically Superman. It was handwritten. It looked like it was the American version of a board and it should have been the English. It had various bits and pieces on there that made me go, well, you know, I should just not even think that that's a good one. Well, then I started doing a deeper dive. And pretty quickly it became apparent that I was utilizing all the things that I thought was bad about it, were actually ended up being good. So here it is, a little bit smaller than I expected, to be honest. That's because specifically it was made to go inside a helicopter or an airplane. Fairly standard looking 70s, 80s clapperboard. The way that this was done is they used like a Electra set here, a rub down transfer for director cameraman, and then everything else is like handwritten. But the incredible thing about this is, look at the tape. So the tape here is just tape upon tape upon tape, all very aged. All, in this example, this had another kind of tape here that's been ripped off and then written over. Superman, scene 110, take 2, sound MOS. I think we've already talked about what MOS means. That basically means that it was shot without sound. The date 9/23/77, which was very early on in production. This was a night exterior on cam B. Cam B is typically, if you have a secondary slate, a B slate, or in this case camera B, that would be a stunt, or that would be, in this case, they're filming backgrounds for Superman flying around or for models. Director is Dick Donner. Bob Balin was cameraman, whose speciality, of course, was he had worked as a director, but he'd also done cinematography, and in this case, he was the guy who was charged in America, you know, to shoot in New York, Statue of Liberty, all the cityscapes, all of the desert shots. Anything where there was a background required behind Christopher Reeve. I do not know, even though they filmed these at the same time, I do not know whether they also filmed the background plates for the second movie at the same time. I have a feeling they didn't, but I also have a feeling that being the kind of homemade version here, and the fact that he was shooting this in America and it was like up to him to get the plates to send back to England, I just got a feeling this is the only one. So I don't think we'll be ever seeing another one of these coming up. As you know, Superman had so many clapperboards, and there are test clappers, there are black and white ones, the English type, there are homemade kind of things that just look awful, but in general, they use the standard black and white clappers that are very famous as period pieces out of England from the 70s, 80s and early 90s. Production company was Dove Mead. We already discussed Dick Donner. I think, you know, I was not expecting that, but then a clapperboard that a nice gentleman from YouTube showed me said Dick Donner for the Richard Pryor movie The Toy. So that's 2 out of all the clapperboards, and I believe there are others too. So I now I own this. Let me tell you, the difference between the photographs and just seeing this in real life, it's like chalk and cheese. It's amazing. The minute I took this out of the box, I was just so comfortable with it. I felt so good about it. And the thing, of course, I still cannot believe this. Only 3 people called Melia Brothers Auction House. Only 3 people called them, and I was one of them, and I asked some very specific questions, much better ones supposedly than anybody else, because everybody else, the 2 people asked, where did it come from? Melia Brothers didn't know, they didn't have any information on it. So my questions were, you know, where did it come from? No answer. but also, you know, can you tell me a little bit more about, you know, condition? But the thing I really wanted to know about, of course, what was under here. Now, I'm taking the tape away, but this had already come off before Melia Brothers took it off. So I'm only going to take it so far. But as you see here, the G is for the Great Wally Enders. Now, I'm not going to be the guy that peels this all the way off. That's good enough for me. The Great, and then knowing it goes up to about here, Wally Enders, that's good enough for me. But really and truly, there are multiple pieces of tape on this. I am just, it's just fascinating to know what would be under this, isn't it? So basically, I'm going to look back at but he had some other amazing films that he'd worked on. So I have a suspicion that this is going to have all those films on it. So I will post those up here as we're going by and you can see them. The back of this has a very specific piece of perspex on the back, which is a handhold here. And again, I think that's just the ease of use of being up in the plane or in the helicopter, really. The clapper has got the magnetized clapper in it, and it's got a lot of use. Very loose. There's even a little bit of plaster up here. There's got your finger rubbing on it. Anyway, what can you say? It's certainly one of the most iconic things that I've ever found. There's something about knowing that this is the footage that was shot that goes behind Christopher Reeve, that the minute I worked that out, I had to have it. I probably would have gone maybe 2 times what I spent on this to get it. But I think that was the problem with most of the Superman clappers. Many of them don't have the writing on still. Many of them are just getting older and have been, you know, not looked after. To know that this has got the final tape on it from the final use, that you could actually work out what, I haven't done it, but I'm going to work out what day 9/23/77, what day of the week was that? You know, what time was it? It was done at night. So what is wonderful about this is knowing so much from what's written on it. And then, you know, we've kind of worked out a couple of bits and pieces, but it's just, I don't throw away the word around the word iconic very often, but I think this is just an iconic clapperboard. Very meaningful, very cool. I don't even believe I own it. I think if anybody done the amount of research that I'd done, and they certainly would have delved as far as I could have gone, but I think they just would have gone harder for it. And at that point, you know, I'm just so pleased, because obviously, you know, everybody has a limit. I certainly had a limit. In my head, I was about there. Maybe I would have gone higher. Maybe if I'd have been able to touch it, I would have doubled what I'd offered. But I was getting to where I was comfortable. But now I'm holding it in my hands. I know if I'd seen it in person, I would have certainly gone a lot higher, because I would have had the comfort of knowing exactly what it was, and it is exactly as advertised. So I'm glad that this video is me waxing lyrically about this, and I hope you've enjoyed all these 3 videos on this. I'm actually working on an incredible 32 clapperboard collection that has some stunning examples in it. I won't be talking about that right now, and I'll be keeping that to myself, but the reveals will be in the future, I'm sure. A lot of TV stuff that nobody will care about. Some TV stuff that I will only care about and no one else will. But again, just a remarkable lifetime collection of beautiful boards, some of which have been missing the time and now have revealed themselves to me, and pretty much me alone. So as always, thank you so much for liking and subscribing our page. It really helps build the numbers, and we're into our 2nd month now doing these, and we're nearly 50 videos, and we're definitely getting a microphone soon. I've heard your comments. I'm working on lights and microphone, and then this will look even more professional. But thank you so much as always, and we will see you again on another Prop Stock Showcase. For now,